Welcome to Old Classic Car on this collection of classic and vintage Morris car photos from the 20s through to the 1980s. And beginning, we have an Oxford 6 from 1930. That's followed by a Morris Minor van, or the 600 weight stroke 800 weight van as it was called back in the day. There's a collection of barn find cars with a Morris Minor van in the foreground, with a Bedford CA for company. And here we have a Morris Mini Cooper S from 1966. That's followed by UD3353, which is a 1929 Morris Cowley Tourer, a flat nose version. And that's followed by a Morris 8 Series 2 Tourer, FVT 778. That's from 1938. There's a Morris J-type van. And here we have a Morris Oxford Series 6, the Marina designed Morris Oxford of the late 1960s. Back to 1929 now, and JN155, which is a Morris Minor Tourer. There's a much later Morris Minor convertible from 1964. Next, a pair of Morris commercial LC lorries of the mid-1950s. That's followed by a bullnose Morris of the late 1920s. The Morris Z van, this was down at Goodwood Revival a few years ago in the livery of Mintex. Arriving at a show is an early 1970s Morris 1300 Traveller, based on the ADO 16 range. And there's a barn find Morris 8 Series E 4-door saloon. Continuing with these classic Morris car photos is a Morris Marina Coupe, the TC, from the early 1970s. There's a side view of a very rare circa 1935 Morris van. Very unusual vehicle, probably the only one I've seen. Sticking with commercials for a moment, here we have a Morris minivan of the early 1960s, complete with the original roof vent. Now the Morris J-Type, the early J-Types were powered by a side valve 4-cylinder engine. The later J-Type, the JB, had the overhead valve B-series engine. This is another bullnose Cowley, I believe. The side view of a Morris 600 weight van down in the Cotswolds. The 621 AOK, this was long believed to be the first production Mini, but it's actually the first production Morris Mini built at Cowley. Then CN 4107, that's a 1929 Morris Cowley 6-light saloon. 6 light because of 3 windows down either side. Here we've got a Morris Minor 1000. And a Morris 8 Series 1 4-door saloon. Spoked wheels and chrome radiator surround. That's what differentiates the Series 1 from the Series 2. And here we have a pair of Morris Minor convertibles. These are late MM, the Highlight MM series cars. Here's a real rarity, the Morris J2 pickup. A850 KWK, this is the last Morris Ital ever built, and by definition it's the last Morris ever built as well. And here we have a Morris 8, this is a Series 2 car, with the disc wheels, the Easy Clean wheels, as opposed to the spoked wheels of the Series 1. There's another J-type Morris van of the early to mid 1950s, OBL 432. There's another Morris Oxford, the Marina type, the Series 6 of the late 1960s or 1970. Going back to the 1950s now, we have the MO Oxford. This is a restoration project. Sticking with restoration projects, this is a Morris Z van, the 500 weight van, the 1/4 ton. somewhat plusher, is the 6-cylinder Morris Isis. This example was down at the NEC Classic Car Show a couple of years ago. Back to the Morris Minor, CSL 647, that's a 1949 Morris Minor MM low-light car. There's a Morris 10-4 saloon, again with 6 light bodywork, 3 windows per side. Another rarity, this is a Morris 8 Series E Tourer, again at the NEC. The Morris 1800. This is the fairly rare now, the Morris 6, which was based on the Morris Oxford MO body shell but with a longer front, different grille and 6-cylinder engine. A rear 3/4 view of a Royal Mail Morris Z van, rubber rear wings. And there's a Morris 8 Series 1 Tourer, very pretty car, an Austin 7 alongside. There's a lofty Morris Cowley, flat radiator version. There's a Morris J gown van, coach built van. Another Morris Oxford MO, NKF 558. This is my own Morris Minor 1934 that I owned a few years ago, until we needed something a little larger. TFC 953, this is a 1953 factory built fire appliance that was used at the Cowley works for many years. And 2143DA, that's a Morris half-ton Series 3 van. This was at Malvern. There's another Oxford Traveller, the Series 6. The estate car version. The Austin was the Countryman, the Morris was the Traveller. And here's a rear view of another example. This is a 1966 car. Very practical classic. The Morris 8 Series E, 4-door saloon, complete with period radiator cover. AWD 834 is a wonderful old Morris commercial C11/40F from 1936. That has a 3.5 litre petrol engine. That's followed by a 1964 Morris 1100 saloon, 4-door saloon. There's a Morris Minor, split screen Series 2 Traveller, quite a rare car now. The pre-war Morris Minor van. This was a test and development car based on the Morris Marina. This is down at the British Motor Museum at Gaydon. Sticking with the Marina, this is a Morris Marina based pickup of the late 1970s. The Morris PV ice cream van down at the Goodwood Revival back in I think 2015 possibly. And a head-on view of XVO 843, that's a 1957 Morris Oxford, powered by the B series engine. KR5214, this is a 1930 camper van, based on a contemporary Cowley chassis, I believe. The side view of another Morris J-type, in the livery of Kenwood. The Morris 10-4 saloon. Early to mid 1930s car. Here's a close-up of a Morrisol Serum brand oil can, Serum being Morris in reverse. And here's a work in progress Morris 8 Series 1 Tourer down at the NEC. A pickup version of the Morris Minor. The vans and the pickups all had separate chassis, unlike the saloons. Here we've got a 4-seat Morris Minor Tourer. And the Morris Ital van, or the Morris 440 or 575 van, as it was officially known. This one in Royal Mail livery. There's another flat nose Morris Cowley tourer, 4-seat, 4-door tourer of the late 1920s, 1930. There's a Morris 1800 rally car, circa 1967-68. Fairly early Morris Mini Traveller, the Woody. The Morris J-type van in the post office telephones livery with the rubber front and rear wings, 949 BYY. There's a Morris Minor Million. And here we've got a Morris 8 Series E 4-door car with the headlamp conversion. You could move away from the slopey headlights to the more efficient 7-inch headlights as shown there. This is a Morris J4 pickup truck. There's another Morris 8 Series 1 Tourer, JY5364. And this magnificent machine, TUV809, is a Morris CV11 lorry of 1935. There's a Morris 8 Series 2 saloon, 4-door saloon. And here we've got a Morris badged half-ton pickup truck. These are available as Austin or Morris. CP8177, that's a 1930 fabric brodded Morris Minor. This was at the Tatton Park Classic Car Show many years ago. Back to Goodwood, and we've got a Mintex liveried Morris Minor van this time. We had the Z van earlier, this is the Morris Minor. There's a very original Series E Morris 8 with the slopey original headlamps, KHT528. The first of two pictures now of ANE615, which is a wonderful 1934 Morris Oxford 16-horse saloon. A very imposing and very rare car. I don't think I've seen another one. There's a Morris J-type tipper. This was on the Morris J Club stand at Tatton Park Classic Car Show. This is a very rare Morris Minor coupe with the fake rear pram irons on the back of the roof. A very clean Morris Minor 1000 of the late 60s, beginning of the 1970s. Here we've got the chassis of what may well be the oldest surviving Morris in existence, according to the sign. A very smart Morris Minor van down at the Haynes Motor Museum. Many of these were used by the post office back in the day. There's a very smart, this is a Series 2 Morris Minor Tourer with the early cheese grater grille. Later Series 2s moved to the horizontal slatted grille. There's another J-type. Here we've got a Morris 10-4 Series 1 car on spoked wheels and chrome radiator surrounds. This would be about 1934-35. Another two-tone Morris Isis, the 6-cylinder saloon of the mid-1950s. And carrying on with this collection of pre-war and post-war Morris cars, we've got another Series E Tourer, SSY 806. Another early bullnose Morris, this is an Oxford I believe, EL5600. The Morris Z van with post office telephones, complete with ladder rack on the roof and the carriage type door handles. Here we've got a camper van based on the Morris half-ton van, possibly Sun Tour if memory serves. A very colourful Morris 8 Series E 2-door saloon now, FAF 785. These were produced either side of World War II. This is a barn find 1931 Morris Cowley 4-seat 4-door Tourer. Another Morris 10-4. A wonderful vintage Morris commercial van in the livery of Sunlight Laundry. Wonderful on the old spoked artillery wheels. And rounding out this collection of Morris car photographs and vans, etc., is a rear view of a circa 1932 Morris Minor two-seat tourer. So, thanks for watching this collection of Morris photographs. I've tried to include a variety of cars, vans and pickups. So please check out the other videos on this channel. If you like this one, give it a like and consider subscribing. More videos very soon. Thanks for now.